Benjamin Franklin, during this time, there was both technology and science that were being played out, and they both fed on each other. So as you improved your equipment, you also improved the science that you were doing. That improved the technology overall, and these things just went into a loop. So we ended up getting better lab equipment, better science, and those things continued. Also during this time is where we started to really see the difference between here was an experimentalist, here was a theorist, over here was an engineer. So people started to differentiate more. It used to be here was a scientist, and this was the guy that would do the glassware, that would also, clean stuff and to do the full experiment. Whereas as things became more specialized and the experiments became more difficult and there was more technical expertise for each one of the individual pieces, then these things started to get specialized. So you ended up having someone that knew an incredible amount of math but didn't know their way around a test tube. So that person was doing theory. They were sitting in an office somewhere or sitting in a building, and with a paper or pencil or whatever they were using, they would be doing amazing calculations that most of the other people wouldn't be able to touch. So people like Euler and Gauss, some of these ones that you may hear in your math classes later. So these people were incredibly brilliant. But they were not handy, per se, with your average thing. Newton was a little bit of an exception. He could do pretty much everything. He did the experiments. He also did the theory and the math. But as you went further, as time went on, so after Franklin's time, then these things started to separate quite a bit. So you end up hearing about famous theorists, famous experimentalists, but you don't hear as much about some of the famous engineers that also did some great contributions. Some of them might have been like building huge bridges, and so you'll hear about a couple of those. Now, let me just quickly get back to this, and I'll be just a second.